When you think of long-term investing, where is the absolute best place to save your money? Now, for a majority of us, we have money put into the stock market, but looking at a survey from Gallup, that is not the number one place where people are storing their money or where they really have the perception of where they should be storing it. Coming in at number one, if you said real estate, you are spot on. 36% of Americans say that it is the American dream. It is real estate where they are placing all of their money, where they're investing. And of course, looking at the annual economy and personal finance, stocks came in at number two, meaning that if you're investing in real estate, let me know in the comments how you're doing it. Are you buying real estate? Is it rental properties? We know a lot of the real estate and the rental properties are being taken over for corporations. I believe like 25% of America at this point. So pretty interesting. Are you investing in REITs? I know a lot of people do real estate REITs. They do the individual homes. They do the commercial real estate, the industrial real estate, a lot of that. Now, of course, like we said, stocks were coming in at 22%, which was the second best choice for the return over time. Now, when you start thinking of the typical investor and the ability to invest in the market, that is something that you definitely have to remember, where opinions may be swayed by the more recent pandemic. Really, the housing price that has shot up if you own a home, the value of your home, including ours over the last 10 years, has went up about 100%, which is kind of insane. So when you think of the long-term assets that we're building and the property that we're owning, having an owning property versus owning stocks, the property value and the property that people are owning was the number one. Now, of course, real estate can definitely pay off. And this is actually a conversation that I had earlier with the asset class. So real estate itself has averaged about a 215% return since 2000. So in the last 24 years, according to S&P CoreLogic, they said that it is 215% return over the last 24 years. So pretty good return, which is kind of crazy. But when you do the numbers, now for me personally, I love the numbers. I love the math. The S&P 500 during that exact same time has returned 287%, which guys, think about that. So if you put money into VOO, if you're investing in that Vanguard S&P 500, in 24 years, you would have seen a 287% return on the money that you're investing, which again is kind of crazy. So even though a majority of individuals are saying that stocks are the second choice, that ETF investing is the second choice, when it comes to math, it outperformed the housing market by a considerable amount. I mean, you're talking what, 60+%, which is kind of crazy when it comes to how much money. Now, of course, real estate values have slipped from the record highs, which we've seen in 2022. So the housing market, the median price of homes has come down in the last 2 years to around $479,000. And again, to think of that price tag at current rates. So if you're looking at $480,000 at a 7%, which is kind of crazy, home prices are still significantly above the average that we've seen prior to the pandemic, which is kind of crazy. And of course, if you follow stocks, if you follow ETFs, the S&P 500, I believe this year has already seen 5 record highs, including today. We've seen another record high, which it is on Wednesday. Again, we've seen another record high for the S&P 500. So those large caps, those big companies continue to carry the entire index, which of course means that the price of stocks are going up while the price of the housing market is going up, as well as pretty much everything else that we see. Now, of course, looking at the Federal Reserve, the CPI inflation, CPI index actually stayed the same. So they feel like the fight for essentially inflation is coming down, and inflation is going to continue to come down over the next couple months, which means with the inflated real estate prices, if the market starts coming down as far as the interest rates, homes are going to get cheaper to get monthly payment wise because you're going to have a lower interest rate, which of course is going to be great. Now, looking at Americans themselves, 62% of Americans have money in the stock market. Now, of course, with the stock market, we are talking about stocks, mutual funds, money in retirement savings, 401ks, IRAs, retirement savings itself, only 62%. Now, for that number, I was pretty shocked that that's all it was. I would think it would be much higher than, the other 38% that don't have anything invested at all in the stock market. Don't know if they're doing real estate, don't know if it's cryptocurrency, if it's anything. And of course, this is very little changed over the last multitude of years. They've actually started taking this Gallup poll in 1998, and the 62% really hasn't changed in 26 years, which is kind of crazy. And then, of course, a lot of people also wonder about gold. Gold is one, literally stacking gold in gold bars, Meanwhile, about 18%, which is the third most polled, said gold is what they were viewing as the best long-term return, which of course is down from 25% earlier the year. So we have seen gold come down a little, but now gold is often viewed as a very good hedge against inflation, which is exactly what we're dealing with right now with the precious metals. A lot of people are putting it in there. Now, of course, long-term, gold has been worth its weight. And looking at right now, since 2000, and again, thinking of the math that we're using or the statistics, it has increased about sevenfold since 2000. So about a 7x for gold, which is kind of crazy when you think about the return over that. So investors, of course, gold has a downside. Now, we're talking about physical gold. We're not talking about the ETFs. We're talking about physical gold bars. Just like we talk about cash, it is $100 bills. Looking at this, the big downside is if you're looking to cash out, and depending what it is, you never know the exact price that they're going to give you for the gold itself. Also, when you think big picture, gold does not pay dividends. It does not pay interest unlike stocks, bonds, CDs, whatever it may be. And of course, you do have to find a buyer for the gold if you're looking to cash out with those. Now, of course, looking at this, the attitude about gold and kind of around gold, 27% of Republicans view the metal as a long-term investment. Democrats view it as 7%. So you can kind of take it down as you will for the political parties. And also there is a big difference in the economy and the viewpoints and the opinions that people have. Now, of course, when you start looking at Republicans, they have a lot of negative views right now about the economy in the situation that they've kind of created from the Democrats, which again, not getting into the whole political scene, but overall you can see there are conflicting views kind of across everything. Now, out of the individuals that were polled, and most of you know that I am a financial counselor, I do work in a financial institution, 13% said savings accounts and CDs are the best place for long-term investments, which again, if you're looking at savings accounts, if you're looking at CDs, chances are you're not hedging out CPI, you're not hedging out inflation. And by keeping it in a lot of those investable products, you're actually going to be losing money because of the rates that we have. Even when inflation was 9%, CDs were not paying anywhere near that. Savings accounts weren't paying anywhere near that. But as it sits right now, when you start looking at high yield savings accounts to keep your liquid savings, really looking at some of the bigger ones like your emergency fund, it is very important to have it in something that is going to offer a return, which is the reason why I do always recommend M1 Finance. I have a link down below. It is a referral link, but they have a 5% liquid savings account, a high yield savings account, and they also have a cash account that pays the same. That is where I do all of my investing, which makes it super easy because everything is in one simple place. Now, guys, if you do like the content that I'm putting out there, definitely subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about long-term investments and which investment do you choose and do you think when we talk about long-term investments. And again, that is going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.